Hey guys, today is going to be a cooking session today with Elvis. And we're going to create a dish that a lot of people don't eat eggplant, but I know that my Filipino friends eat eggplant, and I have some Italian friends that love eggplant as well. So to my Filipino friends and to my Italian friends, we're going to cook up a garlicky feta eggplant pasta served with Italian chicken meatballs. So stay tuned, and I'll show you how to make and prepare this lovely dish. Okay guys, we're gonna start off with the dry ingredients. So we're gonna start off with oregano, some garlic salt, roasted garlic peppers, vegeta, ground black pepper, pink salt or coarse salt or whatever salt you have, it works fine. Italian style breadcrumbs or planko works well. Feta cheese, and a package of whatever kind of pasta you want. It doesn't have to be any specific. It can be penne, it can be whatever you want, whatever you choose. And we're gonna use olive oil to cook on. You can do extra virgin or just regular olive oil, whatever. Use Italian olive oil. It always works good and it's healthy. Okay, so we're going to be using for vegetables in today's dish: 3 limes, garlic, clove and a half, fresh basil, guys. All right, half a large onion, 3 of these long style eggplants, and 2 containers of pre-washed mushrooms kind of thing, okay? And I'll show you what we do next. Okay guys, the things that you're going to be needing for cooking this dish is a casserole dish about this size, a strainer like this, okay, medium-sized pot, a cutting board obviously, and a knife and a frying pan, preferably non-stick frying pan, and I'll show you what we do next. All right guys, first thing that we're going to start off is fill your medium pot full of hot boiling water from the tap. Okay, turn it on high setting, the highest setting that you can put it on. All right, the next thing that you do is you put your salt in. So I put in a handful, or I call it a punch of salt, like that. Put it in. All right, and last but not least, some olive oil, extra virgin olive oil or regular olive oil. Drizzle some in the pot. People are saying, what's he doing that for? Well, guys, it prevents the pasta from sticking. I learned that from an Italian lady from years ago. So this is what she told me to do. So we bring that to a boil, and then we put our pasta in. Okay, guys, my first thing that I do is I take my eggplants and I cut them up into little cubes. I'm going to show you what I do. Now, some people make the mistake of peeling your eggplant. There's nothing wrong with that, but if you leave the skin on, it's edible, and it also makes the flavor better with the skin on. But pre-wash your eggplant, and the good thing about it is eggplant skin is full of antioxidants. So not only it's good and tasty, it's good and nutritious for you guys. So I'll be right back. I'll cut these up and I'll show you exactly what it looks like. Okay guys, this is how the eggplant looks like when it's cut up, okay? So you get an idea like this. Then you get yourself a container like this right here, and you put all of your eggplant in this container, and then I'll show you what I do next. Okay guys, I grabbed some of the extra virgin olive oil, okay? And I lightly drizzle the eggplant with the olive oil. You don't need to put too much, it's just for coating purpose. The remainder of it, well, you'll put it into the roasting pan when you cook it. So I'll show you what I do next. Over a sink, put the lid on your Tupperware container. Now that you've put the oil into the container, just give it a little toss so that it all blends up inside. Okay, guys? So the oil mixes up with all the eggplant, just like that. Just give you an example so you can see what it's like. That's what it looks like. Then I'm gonna put in all the spices next. I'll show you what goes in next. So the next ingredients will be all the spices. So my first thing I put in is a little bit of garlic salt. Sprinkle it in. You don't need to go too crazy because you're going to sprinkle it into your roasting pan. Your next ingredient, dried ingredient, is the vegeta. Okay, guys, the vegeta here. Sprinkle it in just like so. Don't go too crazy. Your dish after that is the roasted garlic pepper. Okay? Or pepper flakes you could use if you don't have this specific. All right, again, just sprinkle it in there just enough so it can, because you'll be putting everything into the roasting pan. Oregano leaves, guys, okay? Sprinkle it in. Not too much, just for taste. And last but not least, black ground pepper, guys, okay? Sprinkle it in. All right, don't go too crazy. Throw the lid on top and toss it. Once I'm done tossing it, you'll see what it looks like, okay, guys? This is what it looks like after you tossed it, guys, inside your Tupperware container. It's nice and well and seasoned. So what I do next is my cooking pan. I grab this kind of cooking pan, all right? So it doesn't stick to the pan itself, the roasting pan. I drizzle olive oil, all right? Put some olive oil in there, and I'll show you what I do next with that olive oil on the bottom of the pan. Get one of these here, guys. It's a barbecue brush, I guess if you call it, like a paint brush for braising, not braising, but sorry, brushing on, marinate onto meat and kind of stuff. So what I do is I take the bottom of the pan, of the roasting pan, and paint the sides of it so nothing sticks to this roasting pan that I'm using, okay, guys? And make sure, don't over oil it because then it'll be just too oily, okay? Just put that in there just like so. Nice and with the brush, do the sides and make sure you'll feel it when it's nice and coated with the oil. All right, and then you put your eggplant in. I'll show you exactly what I do next. All right, guys, the water is boiling, so we had to come over here to the pot. What I do is I tile it down to halfway, so medium heat. All right. And we put in our pasta, all right? I don't use the whole entire bag just because this will be a lot of ingredients besides pasta. There'll be the eggplant and everything. So about half a big bag in that, all right? Take it and cover it up. Remember, turn your heat down to about medium 3 and keep an eye on this. Keep stirring this, and I'll show you what I do next. All right, guys, the next thing I do is I chop up my garlic. Now, not all of this garlic is not going into just the eggplant. It's going to go into the other part of the dish that I'm making. So you take half of this ingredient, put it in with the eggplant, and then take the other half and separate it for the other dish, okay? So I'll show you what I do next. Now the pasta is cooked, guys. Now remember, do not cook the pasta till it's completely cooked. You want to cook it so it's al dente. So cooked but not completely cooked, because you're going to be baking it in the oven. All right, guys, I'll show you what I do next. Now that your garlic is diced up, guys, you don't have to go really minced up, just a little bit like this. You can see how the size of the garlic is. Take half of your garlic that you just cut up. One is for the eggplant, and one is going to be for your Italian style chicken meatballs. Okay, so I'm going to take this half and I'm going to put it into a 2-cup measuring cup. All right, inside the cup it goes, and I'll show you what I do afterwards. Now you got your measuring cup full of well, half of the garlic is full into this measuring cup. Drizzle it with some olive oil. Okay, you guys don't need much, just put it in there. I would say just enough to coat it, guys. All right, don't go crazy, you don't need much, just enough to coat it, just like so. All right, then what you do is you take your whisk it in there into the olive oil, so the garlic and the olive oil all blend in together like so. All right, and what you're trying to do is you're going to take your eggplant and you drizzle the eggplant with this garlicky olive oil, just like so. All right, and then you scrape out the rest of the garlic into the eggplant. You notice I didn't put any seasoning into this, because there's already seasoning on the eggplant we did earlier, right guys? So no eggplant, no seasoning into the chopped up garlic and olive oil. I'm going to show you what I do next. Okay guys, preheat your oven to 400 degrees for 40 minutes. Put your eggplant in and let it cook. Cook it and stir it every 10 minutes. Guys, don't forget to stir it until it's golden. And I'll show you what I'm doing next. Now that your eggplant is in the oven cooking, all right, you take a skillet like this, non-stick pan, you preheat it, get it hot, and you put some olive oil in there, guys. Okay, drizzle. All right, just enough to coat the bottom of the pan. All right, so you don't see the white anymore. You just want to make sure it's not over too much oil, but enough just to coat the pan. All right, just like that. There you go, guys. What you do now is you just let it heat up on medium heat. Put the lid back on, and I'll show you what I'm doing next. Okay guys, so the other half of the garlic is over here on the right hand side that we saved earlier. You take your half an onion and you cut it into julienne pieces like so, okay? So now we're gonna go and put it into the frying pan. Okay, we're at the frying pan. The frying pan is at medium heat with olive oil in it. So we take the lid off and we put all of this lovely onion and garlic into the frying pan, okay? Stir it in nice and evenly, just like so. All right, and walk away, put the lid back on, and keep checking on it every 5-10 minutes. We're just trying to get this onions and garlic to a golden color, okay? And I'll show you what I do next. All right guys, I just cut up my mushrooms, all right, just like so. They don't have to be small. They could be this size here, all right? Because the mushrooms shrink. And I put it into a container, Tupperware container, just like so. And I'll show you what I put in for spices. All right, guys. Now that the stuff is in the container, I start putting in my spices. So I put in a little bit of this Vegeta, okay? Just sprinkle it in a little bit. You don't need to go too crazy. All right? A little bit of black pepper. All right? You gotta have your spices in order to have that great taste. Without spices, nothing tastes good. All right? A little bit of oregano. All right, and your final ingredient, you put in some of that roasted garlic and pepper seasoning that I love this stuff. I like putting it on everything. It makes taste everything good. So you put that in there, and don't be shy on this stuff. This stuff is really nice. It makes everything so nice and flavorful, okay? So now I put the lid on, all right? And what I do is I give this a bit of a toss, and I'll show you what it looks like after it's been tossed. All right, guys, so this is what the mushrooms look like after it's been tossed and all the seasoning's been together. So now we're gonna walk over to the frying pan with the onions and garlic, and we're gonna put the mushrooms into that. All right, guys, we're at the pan with the olive oil and onions and garlic. All right, you can see it sizzling in there, nice and sizzle. All right. What we're gonna do is we're gonna toss in the mushrooms now. So we're gonna blend in all of those flavors all together. All right. Give it a stir. Oh my goodness, does that ever smell good? And remember, you're cooking on medium heat, guys, and put the lid back on and let it cook. And keep stirring it once in a while so it all blends in the juices. I'll show you what I'm doing next, guys. All right, guys, so now I'm gonna chop up my basil. Now leave yourselves, this is my basil actually, guys, from my garden, believe it or not. So we're gonna use some fresh basil. Leave yourself one of these for decoration, okay? When you decorate the top of the casserole, which I call a casserole, the eggplant casserole. So leave one of these aside for yourselves for decoration. The rest of them, I'll chop up and I'll show you what they look like. Now that you've cut up the basil to look like that, guys, take your measuring cup that you used with the olive oil earlier, put all that basil inside this, okay, guys? And I'll show you what I do next. All right, guys, so now we have 3 limes, okay? Just cut the ends off the limes, and what we're using for is just for the juices, okay? Of the lime. And what I use after I cut the ends off so that we don't get the seeds into the lime, into the basil in the container that we're using, it's a strainer, a little screen strainer. Okay, I'll show you what I'm talking about. One of these right here, guys, okay? I don't know if you can see that. There's one of these. Put it on top of the measuring cup and squeeze in the juices, guys, just like that on top of the basil, all right? Just like that. And I'll show you when I'm done squeezing the juices what it's gonna look like, okay? Okay, guys, so we got the lime juice in there. Just mix it up with the basil with the lime juice, all right? And I'll show you what we're gonna do with this here next. Okay, guys, 15 minutes more to go on the eggplant. I open up the oven, all right? I pull it out and I take the basil, okay, guys? And I blend the basil in with the lime juice, in with the eggplant. So it cooks for the last 15 minutes. All those juices and the basil and all the flavors are going to get together and mix themselves up, so that it just gives you that wonderful, wonderful taste. So you got all that. See how it's going nice and golden? You got to keep an eye on it, guys. You don't want it to burn. All right, we're going to shove that in the oven and we're going to cook it for about 15 more minutes. Okay, guys, so in a medium bowl or container, whatever you got, combine the panko breadcrumbs, or if you have Italian style breadcrumbs, into the bottom of the bowl. All right, you don't have to go crazy. About a half a cup would be plenty of in the bottom of it. Okay, and then you take a tablespoon of the vegetable oil. All right, and you put in your feta. Give me 1 second. We're going to put in the feta. All right. Crumbled feta into there. Okay. Just like so. And I'll show you how much of the oil here in a minute. So now we're going to put in a tablespoon of olive oil into the dish here, into this breadcrumbs and feta cheese. Okay, and this is going to act like a dressing kind of thing for the top of the pasta and the eggplant, guys. All right, and what it's trying to be, it's trying to look crumbly, guys. Okay, if you notice, if it's not enough, all right, then add a little bit more oil. It needs to be a little bit more crumblier, so we add in another tablespoon. But you don't want it too oily, but you just want it crumbly kind of thing. So the breadcrumbs turn into very similar look as the feta cheese inside this dish, all right? So we stir it in there, just like so. And it's done. So I'll show you what goes next. Now you take a bowl like this, very similar to this. Put about half of your pasta in this, and half of your eggplant will go in this, and you mix it up, because I made extra so we can have extra, the kids and I, for instead of making it food over and over again. So half of the eggplant goes in, all right, into this dish. And mix it up, and I'll show you what goes on next. So this is what the dish looks like after you've mixed the eggplant with the pasta. I added a little bit of oil just to make it a little bit of a oily surface, just a drizzle, guys, not too much to the pasta, so you can see it's a little bit oily. And what I do is I oil another cookware pan on the bottom a little bit, and I transfer all of this pasta and eggplant into this dish, like so, okay? So we transfer all of this in here, and it just smells divine, guys. Oh my goodness. All right, and I'll be making 2 dishes just like this, identical to each other. So now I take the breadcrumbs and the feta and the oil, and you take some of this, and what you do, you sprinkle it. Grab it with your hands, and don't be shy, you sprinkle it over the top, okay? Just like so. All right? Now remember, leave yourself enough for your next dish, okay? I'll show you the next dish when I make it and how it's gonna look. All right, guys, here's the second dish. Oil the bottom of the pan. This is the pan that we use to fry bake the eggplant in. So we put all of the ingredients into this one like so. All right. Spread it out nice and evenly, guys. All right, and now you take your breadcrumbs and your feta and your oil, olive oil, and you sprinkle this all over the top of this, guys. All right. And then I'll show you what I do next. Okay, guys, we got 2 dishes that I've made up of this pasta. All right. So now we got all the breadcrumbs and everything sprinkled on the top. We put it in our oven on broil low for 30 minutes, and you keep an eye on it to make sure it just goes golden and the cheese melts. So I'll show you what it looks like when it's done. Now that the mushrooms, onions, and the garlic have been fried in the olive oil, we're gonna use a spoon, straining spoon, scoop all of this out into a pie plate, okay? Make sure it all drains out. And we're gonna fry the meatballs in the same oil. So the meatballs get all of that flavor of the oil and mushrooms and onions. And I'll show you what I do next, guys, okay? Okay, guys, place your meatballs, chicken meatballs, Italian style, into your frying pan with the oil on medium heat. Carefully, because it's chicken, you got to keep an eye on it. Throw the lid on and then let it cook for a few minutes. Come back to it and keep an eye on it, because you're going to keep rotating it until the meatballs are nice and golden. All right, guys, I'll show you here in a few minutes what they're going to look like. Now we're going to check on the eggplant to see how it's making out. All right, guys, you see how that is? It's all nice and golden. You pull that out, all right? And then you're gonna put in, I'm gonna put in the next one. I'll show you what I'm doing next. I have the next one back in the oven on low broil, and let her cook for about 15 minutes. And I'll show you what's next. All right, guys, I just rotated this chicken meatballs, Italian style meatballs, and you see how they're going nice and golden. The rest of them, you have to sort of push them into the center, move these ones out kind of thing, depending on your size of your pan. But with chicken, you have to cook it slowly, because otherwise it will burn and stick to the pan. So that's the secret. So we're gonna put the lid back on and let it cook for a little bit longer. All right, guys, the pasta, eggplant pasta is completed. See how that is nice and golden, guys? So what I do is I bring it over here. I already did the other one with aluminum foil, all right? I bring the rack up, all right? And I slide this one down below with the foil on. And we're not cooking it, we're just keeping it in the oven to keep it warm. And I'll cover this one up and do the same on the top. And I'll show you what I do. All right, guys, so I just covered up the other one with foil, put it in the oven, and let her sit while we're looking after the meatballs. I'll see you shortly. Okay, guys, the meatballs are done. They're just all your purpose of frying them in the pan is just to golden them up like this, okay? That's what they look like. We're gonna scoop them up into a pie plate, a bigger size pie plate like this, okay? Layer them in the pie plate like so. Make sure you use the spoon with the holes in it, like that. Make sure they're not going in oily. All right. And transfer it from this into this, like so. Okay, and it doesn't matter how you stack it in there, it's all gonna be cooked up, baked up in the oven. We're still gonna do a little bit of a 30-minute bake, all right? So there you go, you have it like that, all right? Now, remember the onions and the garlic and the mushrooms, guys? So you take the onions and the garlic and the mushrooms that you had right here and transfer that on top, okay? and just sort of push it down onto the chicken meatballs. All right. And then we're gonna dress it with some Italian cheese. Give me 1 second here, guys. So I dress it up with this Italian shredded cheese. It's got mozzarella, provolone, Gouda, and Parmesan cheese in it. So it's got a nice flavor to it, guys. It smells like hell, I tell you that right now. It smells like cheesy feet, but you know what? It may smell like cheesy feet, but it gives you the flavor. There you go. You don't need a lot of it. It's just there for cosmetics. Put it in the oven, bake it for 30 minutes. 30 minutes at 350 degrees. I'll bake this for you guys, and I'll show you what it's gonna look like when it's done. Okay guys, the meatballs are done. This is what they look like. We'll serve our plate here in a minute, and we'll show you what the meal actually looks like. Okay guys? See you in a bit. And there you have it, guys. Your chicken style meatballs for Italian style chicken meatballs. Sorry, I had a tongue twister there. And garlicky feta eggplant pasta. That's how you make it. And my son's gonna try out he's gonna be the sample guy.
I've never had eggplant before, so wish me luck. That's not that bad. You've outdone yourself again, Father.
There you go, guys. So there you have it, guys. Another meal prepared by Elvis. I will share the ingredients in a letter form kind of thing. Excuse me. And thank you for watching as usual. Comment, like, and subscribe. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.